Hi, Misha here, and it has been a little bit since I posted on this channel. Not too long, but last week was just really busy. So with that, I had a package come in from Eaglemoss. Really only had time to open it over the weekend, and this is one of the things in it from their Star Trek Starships collection of die-cast models. This is the Regula 1 space station, or science station, or research station, or outpost from originally, well, Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, as you see it here. Although the motion picture, if we were to flip her upside down like such, this model with 4 of these kind of pads was featured as an orbital office complex or headquarters or administration building in space. But yeah, it was a kind of a rework of a model from the motion picture, used much more famously in Wrath of Khan, and it's been reused more than a few times throughout Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, usually representing either outposts or research facilities. For example, it was Deep Space 5. But anyway, not a lot of technical specs out there. It was just the development center for the Genesis probe. From the film, it seems like it had a crew of around 6 people, although there would seem to be room for more if necessary. Size-wise, not counting the antenna on top, it seems to be about 200 meters tall, including these giant tanks, and about 100 meters side to side this direction, or if we include the pads, a little more, 150 to 200 meters that way. It's not a huge structure, but it does its purpose, and it seems to be very modular. The model itself here, the top part, is metal, with this bottom tanks and pads being the plastic. And it actually sits in its stand pretty well. It's a very tall stand. And it sits in here in a bracket. It can't spin, but obviously it's very secure, not going anywhere. And this is in their middle size collection. It's not the XL. I guess you'd call it maybe oversized. They tend to do a lot of the movie models in this size. And we've already had a few space stations like K7, Earth Space Dock, of course Deep Space Nine, and we have the Outpost 47 coming up soon. So we've ended up with a few little stations over time. And it's a nice enough little model from just certainly one of the best, if not the absolute best, Star Trek film. Again, we don't really know much about it. The top part seems to be, crew area and control surfaces. This middle section would seem to be laboratories, and these pedestals or pads would be modular. There's connections here on each side for up to 4. And then on top of those, you can have modules, like there's a little observatory here, telescope if you will. These pads are only about 1 deck thick each, meaning we have a number of decks, but they're probably not very wide. And it has these two big openings, and I'm not sure really what those are supposed to be. If I had to guess, I'd say some kind of shuttle cargo research bay type thing would be the most logical choice. And then at the bottom we have 4 tanks, and these would hold water, perhaps oxygen, and materials related to whatever research might be occurring on the station. Hell, maybe one of them's full of scotch. Yeah, this is a very modular structure, and we see it used for scientific research. Has, of course, its own transporter room, sensors, tractor beams. Not sure if it has any type of defenses, maybe basic phasers. But most importantly, we do know that it has a cook, a chef, because Khan kills him. Well, he kills pretty much everyone, but yeah. You know, this wasn't one I just ran out to buy when it came out, but I figured one day I would probably pick it up. I didn't have much else going on. Like all the other Eaglemoss, it does come with a numbered base. It has felt on the bottom, acrylic stand. It's a reasonable size, but it's not huge. It's actually a little bit smaller than I imagined, but at the same time, considering this wasn't a large space station, it would seem large enough to, convey its overall purpose. It has a reasonable amount of weight. I will be honest, I find that this kind of middle size tend to be a little bit lighter by and large than what I expect them to be. Now the XLs, they can be quite hefty, but oftentimes these aren't a lot heavier than the standard models, even if they are roughly 50% larger. For example, they did the Cardassian Orbital Weapons Platform, another station if you will, and frankly it is all metal and very, very hefty. Kind of wish this was, but it is what it is. And I'm glad we have it in the collection regardless. So yeah, what do you think about the Regula 1 space station? This is in beta canon called an R1 type station. Sometimes the Invictus class. But really we don't know much about them. We only see a few internal sets from Wrath of Khan, and rarely elsewhere in Star Trek do we actually see the insides of these. They're just typically places that the Enterprise or someone else is visiting. But it's cool, and if one ever wanted to do a diorama, it would scale quite well with, say, the Reliant XL. And so, just to give you something, I figured this would be a good kind of catch-up video. Again, I apologize for not putting out as much recently, but just had a lot of life going on. Nothing bad, though. So let me know what you think. As always, if you could, please like, share, and subscribe. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.